Welcome to the RotoWire DFS show. I'm Adam Zdroik. I'm talking Friday's showdown at DraftKings between Chelsea and Fulham. Of course, DraftKings took a long time to release the prices on these, so I had to delay the show a little bit. This is the showdown of the week, but they can't even release the slate 24 hours before the start. So that's wonderful job by them. But yeah, I'm just going to go over some things and hopefully see what we can do. Lineup is a major question for Chelsea. Really, there's really no good guess of how Chelsea are going to look coming out of a short little break for them because they haven't played in a couple weeks. Their last match was against Liverpool in league play. They did not have any cup matches over the last 2 weeks, so they had a bit of a break, and they also added a bunch of players. So as you can see from this projected lineup, this is kind of based off of what they used against Liverpool. They had three center backs, and then they had Cucurella on the wing, Ziyech on one of the wings, and I threw Mudryk in here. We'll see what happens. Again, this is impossible to project. So also, Graham Potter said Reece James will be available, Ben Chilwell will be available, Sterling will be available. Doubt any of those guys will start, but that's also just going to play into the substitutions here. So if maybe not Chilwell, but you got to think if Reece James is ready, he's going to be coming off the bench at some point for someone, depending how the lineup looks. Like if I don't know if Chaloba is playing as like a right back or something, you got to think that Reece James comes on for the final 20 minutes or whatever to get some minutes under him. So we have those questions. We have the Ziyech situation where he was on his way to PSG. Apparently, according to Twitter, according to some reports, Chelsea messed up 3 different times and they could not complete the loan to PSG. So Ziyech is back in training. He is still a Chelsea player. Is he going to start? We'll see. um, I mean, he wasn't supposed to be on the team, and now he's going to be starting. But I mean, you look at his game log; he's been starting pretty regularly before a lot of these transfers. I'm not sure. Enzo Fernandez is one of the last transfers, so I doubt he starts. May not even be in the squad. Mudryk's been there for a couple weeks now, so that is at least helpful. Loftus Cheek has been on the bench for a couple matches. Got to think he's healthy. Maybe he's back in the starting 11. There were rumors about Conor Gallagher going elsewhere. He's still on the team. Lewis Hall. There's just questions everywhere about this lineup. Fulham, kind of no questions about Fulham. It's either going to be. This is pretty much what it's going to look like. I doubt Sasa Lukic comes into the starting 11 right away. It's either Tosin or Issa Diop playing center back for him there. So those are there's no questions for Fulham. There's plenty of questions for Chelsea, and that makes it a little harder to talk about. But I'll try and maybe I'll go off this. We'll see. I mean, I can click into the Chelsea what they've been playing, but I mean, as you can see from this 3-4-2-1, 4-2-3-1, 3-5-2, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. So it's a little all over the place, and we don't it's hard to project. And then you throw in the injury, guys return from injury, you throw in the transfers. Like, what are they going to look like? What's the formation? Who's going to start? I don't know. So I'll try and make sense of try and be helpful, even though it's impossible to project. So we look at the odds 59% chance for Chelsea to win. That's about minus 160. Fulham just under 17% chance to win. Clean sheet 39%. And then Fulham at 15% clean sheet. 1.81 implied goals, 0.96 for Fulham. Again, cheat sheet, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 2-day trial. And then once you're subscribed, rotowire.com/chat, get into our Discord. We are talking pretty endlessly. There's a lot of Liga MX discussion late at night if you're into that. So for this one, these teams played a couple weeks ago, and Fulham got the win 2-1. I talked about that one. I talked about Fulham a lot the last few weeks on these showdown shows, and they've been a little hit or miss here. So I on that show I was kind of heavy on Fulham, and they were kind of outplayed even though they won. That was when the Joao Felix red card occurred. So, but looking at this, I do think slowly surely that this Graham Potter Chelsea side are going to figure things out. They're going to slowly look a little better. They're going to slowly improve. Whereas I'm not as sold on Liverpool immediately turning things around. I think things are going to start to turn around for Chelsea at some point. I think they're going to start figuring things out. If you look back at some of the Brighton teams for Graham Potter, they always were pretty solid defensively, suffocated teams, didn't allow a ton of opportunities, but they always had trouble scoring. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, this is a different level, different kind of talent here for Chelsea, especially with all the guys they added. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, even you look at the last couple matches, Chelsea at Liverpool, they kind of outplayed. Maybe I don't want to say outplayed, but it was a pretty even match for both sides in the scoreless draw. The Crystal Palace match, kind of how I think this one's going to go. Chelsea won 1-0, but really they kind of controlled how things went. I'm looking at the numbers here: 1.52 expected goals to 0.67, 15 shots to 10 shots, 11 corners to 7 corners. I kind of think that's how this one's going to go. It just depends on if Chelsea can get that goal, is kind of what it comes down to. So let's get into it. I'll start with cash games and then go on from there. But I'm probably leaning 1-0, 2-0 Chelsea win. I think that's where I'm going. Maybe 2-1 if you want to go with the over 2.5 goals there. But again, these prices just came out, so I'll try and work around it. And again, formation, starting 11, hard to project. We'll see what happens. But if Ziyech is in there, I think Ziyech is the way to go. Mudryk did not take any set pieces when he came on for those few minutes in the last match. So I think that's relevant here for this situation in case he starts. Because I guess we have the chance of Gallagher. I still think Ziyech, if he starts, he is the first captain I'm plugging in. And he'll probably be the most popular captain, just if you look across his numbers. And I think that's fine to do because it's not like any of these high price guys are musts. I mean, we look at the prices here and it's like, okay, Sterling's the most expensive guy. Then Mount, who there's no need to force Mount into your squad. He hasn't taken a set piece the last 2 matches. If Ziyech doesn't start and Mount starts, then there's another conversation. But however, if Mount's in there, if Gallagher's in there, if Mudryk in there, it's going to be, we don't know. I mean, we don't know if Mudryk's going to take set pieces. What if it's only Mudryk and Mount in there? There's a chance Mudryk takes set pieces over Mount. We don't know. We don't know. So that's one of the questions here. And again, making this a little harder to talk about. But because all these guys aren't, there's no reason to play all these high end guys in cash games. I think that it's just fine that you can just plug in Ziyech if he starts as your captain. With Ziyech, you can just go with Pereira. Just get Pereira. I don't think it's the best game for him, but he has the best floor for Fulham, and 8,600. He probably has a better floor than a lot of guys for Chelsea as well. If Mudryk starts, I'd consider him if you have the money. I prefer Mudryk to Mount. It just seems like Mount's not going to have any set pieces. Mudryk maybe will steal some, but even then, I'm not playing Mudryk for set pieces. I just think we saw what he did against Chelsea. He's pretty active. He's an active player. We saw what he did in Champions League. I think he's just a guy who's going to draw a little more fouls, a few more fouls than Mount's going to do a little more things like drawing fouls and winning tackles, I guess, more so than Mason Mount. So I kind of like him more than Mount. Again, we'll see what the lineup looks like. From there, if Gallagher starts, I would consider Gallagher. If it's what we have here, and I don't know, someone else is out of the lineup. If Loftus-Cheek or Hall or Cucurella or Mudryk's out, if Gallagher's starting, if it's Gallagher instead of Mudryk, I'd still like Ziyech and Gallagher. It seems like those guys were splitting set pieces when on the pitch together. So Enzo Fernandez at 8,200 is kind of ridiculous. I will be happy to fade him if he's going to stay up at that price range for Chelsea. But Yeah, so Ziyech, Pereira, and then one of these other Chelsea guys you can plug in. I'll just put Mudryk in just so it's another high end guy, so we can see what we can do. I also like for a Fulham piece, I prefer Anthony Robinson over Tete. Tete is 1,800 more. I know that Tete has just been better overall, a little more consistent, but I mean, how many crosses is he going to get in this game? What are you paying for Tete in this spot? Is he worth 1,800 more than Robinson? Probably not. I mean, maybe Tete is going to get 7 or 8 points, but maybe Pereira is going to get 6 or 7 or 5 or 6 points. I don't think the difference is big enough between those guys as an underdog to where like I'm fine with 5+ points from Robinson at 4,200. That's fine. Um, you can consider both goalkeepers, Kepa and Bern Leno. I guess I'd be fine with Bern Leno. It's not the worst spot. Chelsea, again, they haven't played for a couple weeks, and it's not like they've been having a ton of success scoring. So if you want to do the double goalkeeper move, that's fine. You can't even do that actually with the lineup I made. So Leno is what, 5,200. Yeah, that's with Mudryk in there. So other cash plays I like. Let's see what we got here. I mean, I guess Keba by himself, 7,200 is fine for cash. Cucurella, do I really want to pay 6,600 for Cucurella? I mean, we can click into his game log here, but I don't even know if it matters if he's on the wing. Look what he did. I mean, this is at Liverpool, but I don't know. Cucurella just really hasn't been there in terms of fantasy. You can see his corner numbers. He just hasn't taken corners since September. So I don't even know that's something to bank on either, especially if Ziyech is in. So do you want Willian for 64? I don't know if I want Willian over Tete. Tete probably has a better floor than Willian here. He hasn't really been taking a ton of set pieces. And then, I mean, you can look at the Chelsea center backs. You can see where Loftus-Cheek, if he starts, see where he plays. He's usually a guy that'll get forward here and there. See where Lewis Hall starts. If Lewis Hall is on the wing, it's obviously going to be a better position for him than if he's in the central midfield spot. So a lot of this is going to depend on formation. If you have questions about the formation, you want to get in our Discord, rotowire.com/chat to get into our Discord, because we will be talking about that. That is a constant discussion for any Chelsea slate. And if you want some punts, I always consider Joao Palhinha, even Harrison Reed. But I mean, as underdogs, maybe not the best spot for them. Who's the cheapest guy? I mean, I guess we see Koulibaly down here at 3,200. So Koulibaly could be popular. We'll see if he starts. Again, he hasn't actually. Well, maybe not. He's not even going to start. Now that I'm looking at his game log, I guess it's going to be Badiashile, 4K if he starts as a center back. So that's the cheapest Chelsea piece. Maybe I like him more than the Fulham central midfielders and Fulham center backs. So there you go. That's about it for cash. I'd say just if you want to captain Pereira, I guess, but I think it's just Ziyech is a little better spot. I think this is a spot where we could see, twice as many corners for Chelsea than Fulham. So that's something that I would worry about if you're captaining Pereira. I mean, I'm looking at the last match here. There's a red card. The Joao Felix red card is in the 58th minute, and Chelsea still had, away from home, Chelsea had 7 corners to 5 for Fulham in that last match. Pereira had like a 7-point floor. And again, that included being a man up for the final 30 minutes. Granted, they're up a goal, but all right, tournaments, you can go wherever you want. Again, I mean, it's almost like Ziyech might be the most popular captain in all formats if he starts. If he doesn't start, we got to toss up. How much are people going to play Mudryk if he starts? Probably a lot. People love playing new transfers. Some people, I mean, I don't know how many of these people saw him play in Champions League. I don't know how big of a deal that is. Havertz will get looks. Mitrovic will get looks. Probably not that many, but Mitrovic is, if you want to play for both teams to score kind of a thing. Mitrovic, reasonable captain, get a goal from him, get 4 shots from him, and then you got set pieces coming back for Chelsea, or get a goal for Chelsea kind of thing. I'm not sure. Mason Mount's been kind of overly popular, I think, because people still have in their minds that he takes set pieces. So I am almost gonna avoid Mason Mount in all formats. Maybe that means he's good in tournament. He's a good tournament play, but I mean, what I think and what the public thinks usually isn't the same thing. Um, let's see here. Aubameyang not gonna play. Kepa, I'll get to the goalkeeper. I'll get to the goalkeeper captains in a bit. And then, I mean, really anyone, whoever. I don't know. This mid range is kind of ugly now that I'm looking at it. I mentioned Lewis Hall before. The one worry with him, you can see his game log. Seems like he's always an option to be subbed off early. And then you include that all these guys are coming back from injury and the transfers. Seems like Lewis Hall is in play to be the first guy subbed off if he starts. So that's a worry for him. I don't see really anyone who stands out for cheap captains, unless you want to like take the if you want to go Robinson, hope he hits an 8-point floor, and then him being cheap allows you to get a bunch of higher price guys. I mean, that's an option. Or if you want to captain a center back, maybe get a goal from Body Sheely kind of a thing. All right, so let's do the Leno captain. So in this spot, we're looking at probably a scoreless draw, 1-0 win for Fulham. 1-1 result and a bunch of saves. I don't really see that happening. Chelsea just I guess. Yeah, okay. Let's with this lineup, probably want Mitrovic in here. Do you want Pereira? Maybe. I mean, you can do kind of whatever you want here. Do you also want Kepa in here? Maybe not, because I mean, no matter what, you're kind of still even with a scoreless draw, like how many shots on target are Fulham going to get? So is Kepa going to get there? Is he going to get enough saves in a scoreless draw? I'm not sure. He's not going to get as many saves as Leno, probably. Probably plug in Robinson or Tete again. And then you got 10K left. So this is Leno, Mitrovic, Pereira, Ziyech, Robinson, and you got 10K for your final spot. So a lot of ways you can go. You can get Havertz, who hasn't had the worst floor in recent matches. I mean, you can look at his numbers, even taking away that goal, like a couple shots on target, back-to-back matches, 4 chances created against Fulham, against Man City. So his floor hasn't been the worst. His floor is definitely worse under the prior manager. So not that you're playing for floor in tournaments, but I mean that's the general Burn Leno captain build. And I think my favorite one will be Kepa. And again, I have not created this yet, but we'll see what we can do. Do we want Pereira? I don't think Pereira is actually a must here. I think he's going to be popular because of his average and what he does. But I mean, you see his floor in that first Chelsea game is about 7-8 points, and I mean, final 30 minutes of that game, they were up a man, and again, this was at home. So I feel like Pereira's floor is going to be a little closer to what we saw at Newcastle. He had 5.2 points in 77 minutes. Also, prior away results, he is getting subbed off early. So that's another thing to look at. So I don't think Pereira is a must by any means. I mean, if he gets between 5 and 8 points, really, that's fine. Like with Kepa, you're clearly not playing for him to make the score sheet. So I think that's fine going against him. I think you could just use Robinson with this lineup and hope there's a chance Robinson's floor is the same as Pereira's, or 1 or 2 points off of Pereira. And he's so much cheaper that this is it allows you to do a few more things with your lineup. So with all these lineups, I say this a couple times, but Ziyech is 10.6K. And if he doesn't start, that's just going to allow you to do a ton of more things with your lineup. But I'm plugging him in for all these. So it's kind of maybe limiting you a little bit with Ziyech. So if he doesn't start, the slate is wide open. All right, so Kepa, Robinson, Ziyech. It's really tough when you don't want to play Cucurella, and who knows who's going to be at right back / on the right wing. So that doesn't help Kepa in terms of just getting a clean sheet with one of the fullbacks, kind of a thing. Because I mean, do we want to play Cucurella? I looked at his numbers earlier, and it's just not really worth it. So, man, if he plays on the left wing, okay, it'd be something to think about. But all right, so let's just do for fun. Let's get Havertz in there. We want Havertz most likely to score. Let me just pull up the goal odds here. Well, all right, well, I guess the goal odds are not here yet because the slate just came out. All right, well, fortunately, DraftKings again took a while for the slate, so goal odds are not up on the cheat sheet yet. But all right, so I got Havertz here, 15.2K for the final two spots. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Do we want a center back? Do you want a center back goal? Do we want Chaloba? Do we want Hall? Loftus Cheek? I'll just plug Holland. No, actually, I don't want to plug Holland. Let's just plug Chaloba in for the heck of it. He seems to get forward a lot. You get the win, clean sheet. You get the clean sheet with Chaloba, and then maybe he gets a couple shots. And guess what? Okay. Yeah, that builds itself. Okay, so Kepa captain, Anthony Robinson as your lone Fulham piece here. Ziyech, Havertz, Chaloba, and Mudryk. That's pretty easy. Clearly, I'm fading Mason Mount. If you want to play Mason Mount, you gotta just take out Chaloba and put Thiago Silva in, and then plug in Mason Mount above Mudryk. Again, this is just on the projection that both Ziyech and Mudryk are starting. We don't know what's going to happen. So there you go. I mean, Kepa is the favored goalkeeper, 39% clean sheet. Fulham have kind of had trouble scoring a little bit recent matches, so they aren't guaranteed to score by any means. But yeah, I as I said, 1-0, 2-0 for Chelsea. That's kind of what I'm leaning here. Maybe I'll build something else to where it's like 2-1 kind of a thing where Fulham do get a goal. We'll see. Maybe in that lineup, I'm looking at Bobby De Cordova kind of a thing. Sub 3% captain kind of a look there. But I like this Kepa lineup. I just gave it out to everyone. So there you go. 0 remaining salary, but don't dupe me in the contest I enter. Okay. There you go. All right. That's all I have for Chelsea's match against Fulham on Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern on that one. But also on Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, me, Ryan Belangi, Jack Burkhart, we're going to go over the Saturday slate, and the prices are not up yet, but I think it's a 5-gamer. So we're going to be going over that on Friday. So be on the lookout for that. But thanks for watching this. Good luck on the slate, and hopefully Kepa is not too popular of a captain. We'll see. Goalkeeper captain has been kind of off and on here this season, but we'll see what people do. Good luck, and we'll see everyone tomorrow.